AA's thought of the day. And when is it right to cut your own family off? And we're going to look at the family after addiction from chapter 9 in the big book, right here on Recovering Addict. I'm LT and I'm an alcoholic addict. Yes.
Welcome to Recovering Addict.
Oh, really?
What? What?
Yeah, thank you to the patron supporters. Sorry for I do not have the names updated. I'm actually in the process of building a brand new complete intro for Recovering Addicts. So we're going to just you'll shake. It's going to be kind of cool, I hope. But yeah, I'm a recovering addict. I'm an alcoholic addict. And 2 times in my life, I've hit rock bottom. Meth addiction in the early 2000s. Alcoholism in my 30s. Cool. That's my drink. She's touching my drink. She's taking my intro. She's touching my drink.
This is my drink.
Oh, man. What do you do? Huh? Is it time to cut family off?
What? Why?
My
what?
Goodness. So tonight we are going to read the Kindle, AA's thought of the day. We're going to cover a question and hit 5 parts from Psychology Today about a question that was proposed and asked in the Discord. And then we're going to jump into the first couple little pages of the family afterwards. My boys, all the kids will be on the show tonight. They're out getting snacks for movie night, and I can't believe it. They're out driving around on their own. Gee, how many Christmas we're getting old. So big. Insanity. But the AA thought of the day. In the alcoholic world, and I can attest to this, one drink always leads to another. And you can't stop until you're paralyzed. That describes me to a T. And the next morning, it begins all over again. You eventually land in a hospital or a jail. You lose your job. Your home is broken up. You're always in a mess. You're on the merry-go-round and you can't get off. Oh, man, that's so true. You're in a squirrel cage and you can't get out. Here's a question. Am I convinced that the alcoholic world is not a place for me to live in? And it's crazy how long it took me to realize that. And I have videos, and we're making a video for our splash page on our website. And I have a bunch of video from April 15th or something like that of 2018 where I sat in my basement drinking, talking about this. But I was in that squirrel cage. I was on that merry-go-round, and I couldn't get off. And I'm talking about it as I'm drinking. Some of you have seen some of the clips, and maybe I'll show one later tonight if I get some people asking in the comments. Let me see you drunk, like miserable drunk, not like fun party trigger drunk, like miserable. That's sad. So our meditation is: I must learn to accept self-discipline. We have to discipline ourselves. I must try never to yield 1 point that I have already won. I must not let myself go in resentments, hate, fears, pride, lust, or gossip. Even if the discipline keeps me separated from some people who are without discipline, nevertheless, I will carry on. I may have a different ways and a different standard of living than others. I may be moved to act by different motives than some people, but I will try to live the way I believe God wants me to live, no matter what other people say.
Yeah.
Conviction.
Preach.
This world has lost conviction. What does your conviction look like? Will you stand tall, amongst haters, if you want to say something like that, amongst people who say, what are you doing it that way for? What are your convictions? And are you self-disciplined enough to live for them? Dang good meditation. Our prayer of the day is: I pray that I may be an example to others of a better way of living. And I pray that I may carry on in spite of hindrances. Amen to that.
Amen.
All right. So who we got hanging out with us tonight? We got 26 people online, 2 hearts, a couple likes.
2 hearts, slide.
I know Cherie was number 1.
Winner, chicken dinner. Cherie, we love you. Welcome to the show, and thank you for the share squad. Love it. Desmond, also from Australia. Welcome. Steph, hope you guys are good. Can only be on for a minute, but wanted to check in. Love you guys. Love you too, Les. Steph. Sean, good evening. Good evening. Good evening, Sean. Smash that like button. Thanks, man. What's up, Mad? My turn. Welcome, Brian Davis. It was a good question. I would extend that into friendships.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, the
for
Discord
sure.
question. Yep.
Yeah.
What's up, Jeanette? What's up, Brad? Yo.
Yo,
Yo.
I'm Brad. I like Batman. I just want everybody to know right now, I love Brad Kendall. Hands down, love him. That's all. Carry on.
What's up, PD? Hey, Cat. What's up, Spray Shack?
Oh, what's up, dog?
Derek in the house. What's up, Brandy? Glad you and your daughter Maggie could make it today.
Awesome. Welcome.
Thank you, PD. Shout out.
Yeah, thanks, Adrian. Check out these hoodies.
Adrian, Indigenous Minds of the New
Let me
World.
pull up this thing right here. Bam.
Boom. Check out Adrian's Facebook page. Drop that link, Adrian, and I'll post it up there. Wait, this one. Yeah.
Black and gold. I love it. I told Felice, I've always wanted a black tooth. I want a pewter truck with gold rims.
You want a black tooth?
Or gold tooth. Teeth are probably black.
Gold tooth.
Gold tooth.
He does. He wants gold rims. He hasn't taken that hoodie off since you sent it.
Probably time to wash it.
He sleeps in it. So yes, Adrian does a great job.
Welcome to the show. This
He
is my
boys.
oldest son. Where is it? He's over here. That's Amos James Weaver. A lot of you know him. And that's Zylan Michael Vincent Weaver. That's Felice. Let me move her head for you. Let me scoot over. You guys get up in this shot. Get up in this shot here.
Yeah, look how handsome they are. What's up,
Allie,
Carla?
what's up?
Allie and Carla's here.
Hi.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Drop that
Adrian,
link
thank
and
you
I'll
so
post
much.
it up here.
She's the one that got us our hoodies.
Boom, there it is.
Oh,
She made
Go
these for us.
visit this.
Tell Millie to
on
get down
Facebook.
here too. I want you guys to see the whole family. The whole Weaver family. Shree from Australia says, "Good day,
Hi.
Amos and Zylan."
Hi.
G'day, Mike.
G'day, mate.
She's
That's
a
not
lovely
a
little
knife.
dingo, that Shree.
Is she now?
She's a Sheila.
Sheila. That's what I meant to say, not dingo.
A dingo ate my baby.
Nicole sent me some stuff to try to work on my Philly accent too. It's not going so well. Here it is. Look at those guys, the whole Weaver family, the whole Weaver clan.
I love them all. Makes my
LT,
heart
Felice,
happy.
Amos, Zylan, Link, and Mildew.
Mildew.
Can I go back upstairs now?
I
Minnie, minnie, minnie,
guess.
minnie,
Yes.
minnie.
Bye.
That's all I heard. Thanks, Sean.
Thanks for sharing it out, y'all. Awesome. Yep. So we got the boys here tonight. We're gonna ask them some very, very difficult questions.
What's your favorite color?
Hang on, let me change my
Black and red.
Black and yellow.
Yeah,
black and yellow.
Blue.
black and red.
Just like that. Mine's blue.
Scoot in just a
Oh,
hair.
weird.
Let's
You
get
guys are
more
wearing your
focused.
favorite colors.
Oh.
Move your foot. I'm gonna scoot over.
Oh, wait.
I should have changed my aperture setting, but oh well.
There we go.
Jeanette says, "Aw, so wonderful." Don, welcome to the show. Glad you are here. Well, since the family's here, this is a good time to talk about 5 signs. So right now, let's cover one of our questions. The Discord question of the day comes from Stephanie. This is a good question, and I think this pertains to more than just addiction in life. Obviously, in addiction, we have to definitely surround ourselves with positivity. We got to close people out that are going to hinder our sobriety. We got to shut back doors, and family members at some points can also be that. But it kind of goes on a happy level and a happy scale of life in general. And so this is kind of a poignant question, and the way that I'm going to read it, and I'll read it exactly as she wrote it. She says, maybe when is it right to turn your back on the people you love in favor of your own sobriety? And I found an article that we're going to go through real quick. 5 signs it's time to cut yourself off from your toxic family. 5 signs. Some of you may be dealing with this, and I think it really has to go, and you can relate this to sobriety, on how your family impacts that sobriety, your stress levels, all that kind of stuff, right? So number one, there's 5 reasons or 5 things for you to think about. I'm not suggesting or telling you what to do. You do what you want to do. I'm just going to throw out some stuff. When your family treatment is severely impacting you, right? I've never met anyone who takes the decision to cut themselves off from their family or specific family members lightly. Obviously, if it's a question, she's thought about it. For some reason, we feel so connected through longevity of being in the same environment, of life together, or biology, whatever it may be. But there's something that just is very difficult to tear apart when family leaves each other, right? This is a heartbreaking decision, and most people carry on with these relationships despite the pain they cause. You have a right to lead a happy life and to distance yourself from the people, no matter who they are, who act in abusive manner towards you. If you're in an abusive place, you really need to contemplate your decisions here. If your toxic family continues to disrespect you, to ignore your boundaries, and to gaslight you, you have every right to cut ties. You do, in fact, have the right to do this at any time, but many people wait until they realize the full impact of staying in these relationships. So if you're in a relationship like this and you feel the stress and you just feel something isn't right, it's a time to make a tough decision, or sit through it later and look back in life and go, man, I wish I would have got out sooner, kind of thing, right? Number 2, when there is nothing positive to be gained from the relationship. Nothing positive to be gained from the relationship. I just want to note, though, that I live by a standard of forgiveness. Forgive, because we've been forgiven much, right? Peter, in the Bible, the apostle that constantly put his foot in his mouth, he said, how many times, Lord, should I forgive my brother? 7? Like, oh, look at me. I'm about to get a pat on the back from Jesus. And Jesus said, no, Peter, 7 times 77, which basically meant as many times infinity is what it meant, right? And so I live by the standard of forgiveness, but also in protection of your own happiness and your own life and things like that in your life, right? You don't want to be hurt. You don't want to be killed, and you don't want to be battered emotionally either. So some people make the decision to stay in touch with their family. Grandma says hi. Grandma. Some people remain to stay in touch with their family because there are some positives to be gained. You may stay in touch with siblings, for instance, because you are involved in a parent's care. You may feel that you gain something from their emotional support in different situations. When considering whether or not to cut ties completely, you need to weigh up what you will gain and what you will lose. If you feel there is nothing positive in your relationship, then it might be time to think about cutting your ties. Do a pros and cons list. We do that all the time here. Weigh out the options before you make a decision. What are the pros? What are the cons? Weigh it out. Make a good decision. Number 3, we become aware that you've been abused. When you become aware that you've been abused, or are being abused, I should say, it should say. So the type of abuse that can take place within families is often very subtle. What? Didn't even see it coming. Your brother's extremely aggressive behavior when he's crossed is deemed as okay because that's just what he's like. Oh, he threw a fit and you got hit with a chair. He just throws. It's okay. It's just what he's like, right? That abuse, which took place as a child when your dad hit you and your mom says, everyone was like that then. And let's not talk about it after all your dad's done. Let's not talk about after all your dad's done for you. Right? Getting smacked for no reason. If you were raised in a family like this, it is difficult to even recognize that you were abused. Often people who are well into their 40s or 50s before they realize that their treatment was unacceptable. When you realize this, and particularly if you were gaslighted, when you try and confront an abuser, it may be time for you to distance yourself. And now number 4, this one kind of got me because I thought about this one a lot in my life. When you realize the family is not a sacred institution. How many of you feel like family is everything on this planet? In this religious state that we live in, they believe that once you achieve their highest thing, you get married in the temple, that families are going to be for eternity. So in this state, heavily, it's talked about that family is everything. But is it actually a sacred institution? And I'll give you my thoughts on it after I read this little paragraph. One of the reasons why cutting ties with your family is such a taboo is because the family is considered a sacred institution by so many people. The family is seen as a safe haven, a place of love and support, and central building block to bigger cultural institutions. When you make sense of your own experiences and you realize that your particular family is not safe and supportive place, it may be time to leave. Just because you came from the loins, right? You came from the same DNA does not mean that you need to stick around and be abused. I started thinking about that. I just started like, man, we're all there's 380 million people on this planet or in the United States. What do we have? A billion something in the whole world? 7 billion people.
Dang, that's how much lumber cost.
And just because I was passed on through those two people, my mom and my dad, I mean, they're just people in this world like anybody else. Like, why do we hold so much high regard? And I've said this on the show before, like, you get people that are traumatized and like, oh, my dad wasn't there for me. And I just don't understand why it's such a huge thing that affects people. Like, we were owed something. Like they're just people in this world trying to get by. They're making mistakes and falling apart just like the rest of us. Why do we hold them in such high regard? Oh my God, my dad he wasn't there for me, or my mom, she did obviously if you're abused, but the neglecting side of things, I don't get it. That makes sense. What do you think?
Are you asking like,
Get up here.
are you asking like why family is so important, or are you asking like,
Yeah,
like
that's kind of what that's saying.
why is family so important?
Let's put these right here. Bam. Now we can all talk.
Okay, so I feel like
So the question in the Discord is, when is it right to turn your back on the people you love in favor of your own sobriety? So say I want to get sober, but you keep offering me weed and you're my son.
Right.
Hypothetically.
Right.
When would be a good time for me to turn my back on you?
I feel like a good time to do that would be like like there's that first time you like when you had that wedding, and you went there to take the pictures, like when you were like maybe a week sober and you went there for your first wedding and they were offering you drinks, and you were like no, that first time you're like, okay, like he should know it now, like then the second time it's like, no dude, like I told you I'm sober. Then that third time you should be like, all right bro, like
I'll give them a couple chances.
Yeah,
And if they don't respect your boundaries,
yeah, when they don't respect your boundaries, you gotta let them know.
I like that.
But I feel like family is an important thing because I love my family to death, like no matter what, because even though Adrian, he wasn't there for my whole life, I still love him with every bit of my body, and every bit of with what I have, and everything that you've done for me. I love you both with everything inside of me, It's just, I think people hold family to such a high regard is because they're the first faces they saw when they woke up in the morning, and the last faces they seen before they went to bed.
Everything they learned, everything.
Exactly, everything that they taught you, everything, because I feel like people say that family is so important and family is everything. It's just because that they were the first people that you ever loved. They're the first people they're the people who welcomed you into the world.
Mm-hmm. Those are good points, dude. You any thoughts?
Basically what he said.
Can't hear Amos. Yeah, he doesn't talk as loud as me. I kind of yell when I talk.
Yeah, but you tell me to be quiet when I start talking loud.
What?
You tell me, yes.
He basically said that family is the first thing you kind of know in your life. The first, you learn everything from your family. And,
which
he
makes
loves
the
his family.
decision that much more difficult, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Which is why it affects people so roughly. Perfectly said. Stepping away for a while. Yeah, step away for a while. I do that with my family. It seems like I have to go back and forth with my dad. I go into his life and it just gets toxic, and so I just back off for a while. Then I forgive and go in, and maybe he feels the same way about me. But it's a difficult decision. When it comes to your sobriety, it depends on what you're going through. I mean, your first year of sobriety is we talk about it. Do not put yourself in a high risk situation. And I don't care if it's your blood, if it's your mom, your dad, or your kids, you might have to cut them off for a year because your life is what's at stake here. At the moment in sobriety, you are, just like Randy said, the most important person in the world. If you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of nobody else. If you're not worried about your well-being, your mental, and being happy. I mean, that's one thing we're trying to get everybody to achieve here on Recovering Addict, is to be happy in life, to be able to live life on life's terms, and to handle any situation without freaking out and having to use drugs. So if they're affecting that, especially in your first year, until you get that, till your shield becomes, you know, the next level, you know, you can look at it like a video game. The first month you got this little tiny, you just picked it up, you can hardly lift it, and it's made out of like crappy wood, and you're like, you know, you take on a blast and it knocks the wood off. But you know, year and a half into sobriety, the more you dig in, the faster this happens too. You get a shield that's just huge, and you want to build a huge, big shield in your life for these type of arrows flying at you, you know, and that's studying, that's having all the tools we talk about, closing your back doors, having a plan, your sponsor. And that goes beyond drugs. That's in life in general. That's being 14, 15, 16, and starting to understand you need to be able to stand up for yourself.
So kind of like when you first start working construction, your hands are soft for like until you start building up your calluses.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just like building up your calluses, like Amos said. And Merck says, "Oh, look, a quieter, better looking version of LT. Finally,
I win." Hey, I guess dimples finally fell out. Huh?
I'll kick his ass in right here on TV."
I'll take you on. You want a shot at the title?
Brad wants to know if he can come in and ask the littles a question.
Yeah, you want to pop on here?
Dinner's here.
Pizza's here.
Oh, there's your mama.
Sweet.
Hi, Shandy. Love seeing the boys with you on
Hi,
here.
Mom.
Hi, Mama.
All right, Brad, I am going to, whoops, I don't want to share the video. I want to invite this. All right, Brad, I'm going to drop this in the link in the description. Don't tell me to text it to you. You can pop on and ask some questions.
Did you grab the food?
I have food's ready.
Sweet.
It's tough. I know, I understand the decision's hard, but I think for first year of sobriety, we got to make some of the toughest decisions we've ever had to make in our life. And, you know, some of those decisions may be quitting your job, moving out of state. And they say not to make those type of huge decisions, but if you need to get away from an abusive situation, you may have to do what it takes. I mean, right now, no Brad tonight. Yeah, I feel the same way, Petey, but you know, I love the guy. I already told you that. You got any quotes or jokes, Linky?
Speak really loudly.
Come back to me.
Come
Oh,
back.
my ear.
You got anything? Is your ear still ringing from when I smacked you?
It does sometimes.
Hey, Brad.
Boo.
I've been practicing my Batman impression. You want to hear it?
What, Brad? You did me. You're rescuing my grandma. You couldn't talk to me, and I sent you 500 to buy her candy.
What you-
I got one. Family comes. I got the joke.
All right, let's hear it.
You're American. Okay. You're American when you run into the bath. You're American when you're going into the bathroom. And you're American when you're coming out of the bathroom. What are you while you're in the bathroom? European.
European. You've heard it here.
Like Daddy popped in the backstage. We got Daddy Trujillo in the backstage, people.
Hey, Danny.
It'd be cool if there's a bass player in town.
I know.
So number 5 is when you state your case and it's not heard. Look, I don't want to be in this relationship anymore. Look, I want to make this decision over here, and they're not listening, right? Dealing with a narcissistic type within the family and people who have acted in an abusive way takes a great deal of courage. There's nothing to say. You have to confront these people, especially if their reaction to you is likely to be extreme. However, if you do choose to, and they respond by telling you that you're making it up, that you're weird, or that you became aggressive, and they become aggressive toward you, it's probably time to leave. These people are never going to see your point of view or admit any of their shortfallings, right? Narcissistic types of families. If you have a decision you want to make to better your life and you confront them in the way that they're treating you, they don't hear it, and then they become aggressive at you, maybe it's time to go. Anyone who thinks distancing themselves from their family is easy is wrong, which partly explains why we stay in these relationships, right? If a friend acted in that way, we would quickly remove ourselves from other abusive people. You know, no, you're on the show tonight, bud.
My stomach hurts. I need to eat.
These guys are hungry. Imagine that. As usual.
I'm a grown boy, Dad.
Great job, Adrian. Why would you ask to come on, Brad, and then not?
Said he's waiting for his kids to go in the house.
Oh, yeah. Adrian says,
I just quit my job because it was a huge trigger for me. I was even having using dreams and had started questioning myself. I was working at a Circle K.
good job. Yeah,
Yeah,
you got
atta girl.
alcohol all over you. You got people coming in and buying stuff.
Because it's Brad.
That's no kidding. That is
Brad's
no
a
doubt.
tease. He's went to the grassy knoll, Sean said. Live from the grassy knoll.
You should read Brad's. If you ever get a chance, go. What is that barbecue place we ate at? Number 8 or Hater?
Hater 8s? Gator 8s?
I can't remember. Some barbecue joint in Texas. Brad put an awesome review on Google.
I can't remember. I wrote it down. Hold on.
It was hilarious. Okay, so if you do choose to
did?
cut ties, you can expect to feel
I'm
guilty.
going to look it up.
Don't forget, you've been subjected to years of your family communicating that they were right and there was something wrong with you.
Heart 8.
Because of the taboo around cutting ties with your family, you can also expect to feel guilty because what you have done is seen as wrong and extreme. Surely people will tell you it is better to just get on with it. You've only got one family, even if they're not perfect. And you also feel sad. When you cut ties in this way, you grieve for the family that you have lost. The sadness, grief, and guilt are, however, often accompanied by a sense of relief and a wonder at how life can be when you're no longer caught up in the spider's web of a toxic family. It can take a while for you to find your feet and know how to deal with this newfound freedom, but over time, you will learn how to live this new life. So if you're in a toxic family and you're being gaslighted, you're not being respected, everybody sees it from the outside and is telling you, look, you should probably do something better with your life. You better take a good look because you only live once. Tough decision to make, but do what you got to do for you. And especially in this first year of sobriety, you can always come back and revisit. You can always forgive and come back and say hello. You know what I mean? And test the waters and then see what happens. But you only live once. Brad Kendall, are you ready? I can't even see your face. You don't even have good lighting.
And shut up. Jesus.
And your phone's vertical. Dude, horizontal, please.
Can I just be outside in private just to ask this question? Like, seriously. And first of all, it's called Hard 8s, you jackass. and then to Petey, Sean, Merck, and whoever else jackasses, heard all your smart ass comments.
I'm sitting down in your spot.
So,
What's up?
So real quick, and I've been avoiding this question
We're
for
still
a
here.
couple.
Battery
Do
chain.
what? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're still here.
Okay, I've been avoiding this question for a few weeks because I know that I'm asking parents this question, and I've been trying to avoid doing that. But since you two are sitting there, and LT brought it up, and then you brought up the thing about whatever happened like a week after he quit drinking. Here's a question just for you two, not for the adults, just for LT's children.
Okay.
When does it get to a point where a father cuts off a child? Now, I know everybody that's listening to this right now, just bear with me. Don't just think I'm, walking out on my kids. There's issues going on. But as you two being the children, when does it become acceptable for him to just say, the hell with you two, I'm out?
Wait, is that what we're making you like you need to do? Or?
Yeah, we say, all right, the way you guys are living in my life, you're out.
Well, I don't know. Is the kid can the kid take care of himself?
There's options. And like I said, it's not like I'm just going to boot my kids out the door. That's not where I'm at yet.
I think it.
But
when...
like I said, I was not going to bring this up because I'm not going to ask a bunch of parents this question because I'm going to get the same answer. But I want to ask two children of an addict. Now that I'm sober, when does it get to the point where I can just basically say, you're done? Like I'm done with you. Get the hell going. You've got places to go. This is where you're at.
When he's got a place to go.
Are the kids thing? Like, what's the
Yeah.
Yeah, wait, yeah, I'm confused.
It's just so here. I'm not gonna go. Like I said, I'm not gonna go into a lot of detail. I'm not. I've been holding this in for a few weeks now and haven't said anything to anybody because again, I don't want to ask parents this question. The only reason I'm asking tonight is because LT brought that up. And one of you guys mentioned the whole, well, give him a couple chances. That first time it was, it's the only reason I'm asking you to.
Well, I feel like if he's got a place to go and they're willing to take him and they're willing to take him and, people are, and that he, he's not listening to you with you being his father, I think that at that point where he's not listening to you and he has a place to go, you should say, yeah, dude, pick rocks. Like, you're not listening to what I'm saying.
Wow, that's terrible advice, but I like it. Terrible advice. That's what sucks is that's the exact thing that I wanted to hear. But now that I hear it, it's like, damn, that's not what I wanted to hear.
Yeah, he always told me, if you keep fucking up, I'm gonna send you to your mom's. I was always like,
well, you know what? That threat coming from me is a little bit different. Trust me, I've made that threat a couple times, but it's a little bit different coming from me.
No offense to any of French people watching.
All right, I just got home, but I had to come in and ask that question. I really wanted to hear their advice as your children, like children of an addict. What would they say?
One
when
thing I'm gonna tell you is you can listen to us and we can talk to you till we're blue in the face, but honestly, the decision lies with you because we can't. For you.
Yeah.
I
get that, but I did want to hear your advice. And I get advice from LT and Felice and Brian and Mark and all these people, and I generally don't take it, but at least it's there. At least it's on the table. All right, I'm gonna keep listening, but I'm gonna hop off here. I love you guys. Hope everybody's having a good night. Hey, Petey, thanks for answering my text when I was a block away from your house earlier. That was great. Appreciate that. Because I was gonna come over and bring you a hat, but no, you didn't answer.
He just got like 20 hats. That's why I didn't answer.
All right, I'll keep listening. Yeah, we're gonna have a late night meeting if everybody wants one. I'm up for it.
Late night Zoom.
Peace.
All right, brother. Peace out. Yeah, I don't know. I think a child, it's hard to ask. I don't know. Tell me if I'm wrong, you guys, but it's hard to answer when you're young because you always look at your parents have never turning their back on you no matter what. And I don't know, a lot of things that I did in my life, I'm glad my parents didn't turn their back on me. When I was 17 and locked up twice for theft and my dad bailed me out. And then when I was in my 20s and my mom got me a lawyer that cost her a lot of money. And I was a meth addict, burglarizing houses and doing all kinds, Bell's bondsman's calling her and telling her that, I'm about to go to prison for 15 years and all this and stuff. I don't know. It's a tough question for a kid. When is it okay for your parents to cut you off? Because I think in a kid's minds, never. My dad's supposed to be behind my back all the time. Let me make my decisions. Let me mess up and screw up. But if I need to retreat in safety, I got my mom and dad to go back on to. I think Jeffrey Dahmer's dad even would agree with that because Jeffrey Dahmer's dad, if you listen to some of the interviews with him, he forgave him and stayed in relationship with him up until he was executed. So, but I think as a kid with a toxic parent, it's a different thing, especially if there's abuse, emotional abuse, head screwing up, and physical, like, black eyes and broken bones and hospitalizations. And it's a continuing thing, unprovoked.
I think you just answered your own question from earlier about the sacred institution of a family.
Yeah.
There is a place for it.
Yeah.
Like the family is supposed to be a sacred institution, but because we're all broken people, sometimes it's just not.
Yep. The dichotomy of human nature, the sin nature and our nature to be good, and the battle in between. Oh, Lord, his hair looks like Harley's. It
Harley
does.
is so cute.
Her
I'm going to show
daughter
you a
has the same
picture.
hair.
Same exact hair.
It's like Sideshow Bob's hair.
Yeah. Oh, I was going to ask him if they could go ahead. Maybe they didn't hear you. Can anybody tell me what cartoon character he looks like? Sorry, you're good. It's all good. All right. Switch me places. I'm gonna get into this book and then we'll go eat.
Yes, food.
Jalapeno
Lucky
pizza
slice.
You guys are
So
gonna
good.
love it.
So freaking good.
I'm gonna show you.
All right. So chapter 9 in the big book deals with the family afterwards. So you go through addiction, right? And there's a word in here, neurotic, right? Which the word is derived from a word called neurosis. And neurosis means a relatively mild mental illness that is not caused by organic disease, involving symptoms of stress, depression, anxiety, obsessive behavior, hypochondria, but not a radical loss of touch with reality. Okay. Neurosis, a relatively mild mental illness that is not caused by an organic disease, but that of a toxic situation where the adult addict and the child of an addict and the wife of an addict have to go through. So chapter 9 starts off. It says, our women folk have suggested certain attitudes a wife may take with the husband who is recovering. Perhaps they created an impression that he is wrapped up in cotton wool and placed on a pedestal. Successful readjustment means the opposite. All the members of a family should meet upon the common ground of tolerance, understanding, and love. This involves a process of deflation. The alcoholic, his wife, his children, his in-laws, each one is likely to have fixed ideas about the family's attitudes towards him or herself. Each of interested is having his or her wishes respected. We find the more one member of the family demands the other concedes to him, the more resentful they become. This makes for discord and unhappiness. So how do you think, let's see what you guys think. Now that I'm in recovery, I got a year and a half under my belt. I got my 18-month thing right there, which is a year and a half about. How should I be looked at now in this recovery side?
You should be looked at somebody. Oh, my bad.
Wait, they don't
Check
go
1 2. Anyways, I think that you should be looked at like, like you're somebody who they could go to for advice, but at the same time, you're just the same as anybody else. You're just the same as someone who just walked into a meeting. You're trying, you're all pushing towards the same goal to stay sober for as long as you can, and trying to stay sober.
I also think they could use you as an inspiration
Mm-hmm.
because you're already that far. And you can teach them advice and everything that they need to know to get that far into being sober.
Because it's because you can look at it like like as me or you and who's a celebrity? Name a celebrity.
Jim Carrey.
Cool.
Danny DeVito.
You can look at it like you could look at it like you and Jim Carrey, right? Jim Carrey is just another human being.
Yeah.
But to the rest of the world, he's
Man.
the man,
So cool, yeah.
But when you walk into an AA meeting and you see all those other people, you become part of a family, and in a family there's no
one's better than the other. That's
no
kind of what it
one's-
says right
no
here.
one's better than another person,
That's right. That's what it says right here. It says we have found more than one member of the family demands, and then the other ones concede. Resents happen, right? Like, you guys better listen to me no matter what. And then you guys are pissed at me, and that doesn't work. But we all should see each other like that, right?
We should all see each other as equals.
Yeah.
Or if I sit there and demand you to do the dishes, you're going to build resentments instead of me asking politely and
Yeah.
respecting if you say no. Just
It's
even
that
in
whole
simple
take.
things.
All the take instead of give. So, and why? It isn't not because each wants to play the lead. Is it not each trying to arrange the family to show his liking? Is it not unconsciously trying to see what he can take from the family life rather than give? Satiation of drinking is but the first step away from the high strained abnormal conditions. A doctor said to us, listen to this, Years of living with an alcoholic is almost sure to make the wife or child neurotic.
What is
There's that word, neurotic, right?
What is neurotic?
Drives from neurosis, a relatively mild mental illness that is not caused by organic disease. Just because you have lived in a life of stress, depression, anxiety, obsessive behavior, and hypochondria, right? All of a sudden you're just the addict begets a co-addict, right? The codependent who has them. That's why we say we recover better together. It's a family disease that is perpetuated by the addict because of my behavior. They never knew what kind of dad was coming in the house. Is he going to be funny tonight? Is he going to be ignorant and yelling at us? Is he going to just not talk to us and disappear? What's going to happen? You know, we never know what kind of person we're going to get. And this creates a lot of stress inside the wife and the children. And so that leads to neurosis. The entire family is to some extent ill. And so that all that years of that created an illness between all of us that has to come out and be recover, right? We all have to hit recovery in our own ways, but we have to recover together as a family and recognize what happened and then grow from it, you know?
That's why we say we recover better together.
Amen, buddy. Let families realize as they start their journey, because it's a journey, as soon as you're in recovery, all of us are in recovery. Let the families realize as they start their journey that all will not be fair weather. It's not going to be easy, right? Zylan left a couple of years ago. Amos followed him a year ago. I was just like, you know, I'm full bore into this now, quitting my job. Stressful times come up, and it's not going to be fair weather all the time, right? Each in his turn may be footsore and may straggle. Footsore and may straggle, right? Some people are going to recover faster. Some people are going to learn more. Some of our character defects, some of us are going to understand our character defects faster than the others. I may grow faster than Felice or vice versa. She may have grown faster in recovery than me. And then I got catching up to do. And while I'm catching up to her recovery, she has to be empathetic and understand where I am at in my walk. And so with the kids, right? There will be an alluring shortcuts and paths down which they may wander or lose their way, trying to take the easy way out, you know, not working the full steps or just thinking, oh, after a couple months, I got this. I don't need the help that I had to get here. I don't need that no more. I'm on my own. Suppose we tell you some of the obstacles a family will meet. Suppose we suggest how they may be avoided, even converted to good use for others. The family of an alcoholic longs for the return of happiness and security. Right? Oh, this is so crappy right now. One of the parents or both of the parents are just constantly high or drunk. I can't wait to get back the way it used to be when it was happy and secure. They remember when the father was romantic, thoughtful, and successful. Today's life is measured against that of the other years. So now they're looking at, we or them are looking at, look at life today. It sucks, but it used to be like this, right? And now we're looking at the same thing in recovery, even though the alcohol or the drugs is gone. Today's life is measured against that of the other years. And when it falls short, the family may be unhappy. Family confidence in dad is rising high. The good old days will soon be back, they think. Look at that. He's sober. He's doing good. Yeah, it's going to be like it used to be. Sometimes they demand that dad bring it back instantly. Dad, bring it back the way it used to be, right? You're done drinking. You're done using drugs. God, they believe, almost owes them. God owes me. I had to live through that crap. God owes me. Almost owes the recompense on a long overdue account, right? But the head of the house has spent years in pulling down the structure of business, romance, and friendship and health. These things are now ruined or damaged. It will take time to clear away the wreck. Though old buildings will eventually be replaced by finer ones, the new structure will take years to complete. So remember that we went over 22 ways to become more patient. I think that whole sentence, right? That whole 2 paragraphs is be patient. You may feel that you're owed, right? You got the kids and the wife, say in our situation, you got these guys right here feeling like I had to live with your drunk ass for 3 years and belligerent. And you're mean and we're scared. Sometimes it was funny. Sometimes it was not. God owes us a quick recompense, right? now we should be happier, and on top of that, we should be paid back more. But then it says, look, and then we want respect. Oh, look, I've been clean for 30 days. Where's my parade? Look at what I've done. And they're like, oh, 30 days. Good job. We've seen this before. Any day now, you're going back to the way it used to be. And the whole point is like, look, this shit's been being torn down. The structures of business and romance and friendship and health, they're ruined or damaged. And it's going to take a long time to replace it. But I like how it says, though old buildings will eventually be replaced by finer ones, better things are to come. Father knows he's to blame. It may take him many seasons of hard work to be restored financially, but he shouldn't be reproached. Perhaps he will never have as much money again. But the Wise family will admire him for what he is trying to be rather than for what he is trying to get. And now it takes that whole thing off where it takes the whole perspective in life out. You know what I mean? We stop looking at, like, when we tell people to find a sponsor, look for somebody who has what you want. And we're not talking about a lot of money, a boat, and a car. We're talking about a quality of life and character. And that's what the family starts to see. Like, all this stuff doesn't mean anything. What are we doing to make life better for us and for our community around us? Is there any questions or anything we need to?
Sean just said things will never go back to what they used to be, but over time, if we're patient, it will become something better. Brandy said, this hurts my heart.
Me too. And it's affecting so many freaking people. And that's why when we're talking about the family, and even our question from the Discord, when is it right to turn your back on the people you love in favor of your own sobriety? It's really subjective there, because what are they doing to hurt your sobriety, for one? And are you trying to educate them on what you're going through? It's a give and take thing there, because the more they understand what we're going through, the more we can understand what they're going through. And, you got to make it work. It's a recovery process. It's a give and take.
Yep. Like I said at the beginning, you can't sit there and make demands. You have to be patient with each other.
So now and then, the family will be plagued by spectres from the past, right? They're going to remember shit that came up. They're going to have to confront situations because of the things we did. For the drinking career of almost every alcoholic has been marked by escapades, right? All the drinking career. Yesterday we had stories about a party we went to up at this Duck Flats over here. Remember that? Level 3, and Brandon getting his truck stuck.
We didn't go to that.
Oh, good thing.
I wanted to go. You left me down at the campsite.
So,
but you were there.
but
Yeah.
you were.
We
Yeah.
were at the. We were at the.
I was like,
Yeah.
I swear you were
I was
there.
there, I
We were there.
remember,
We
yeah.
just didn't go to the party.
So
You guys
that-
crashed that party.
A lot of bad things could have happened that, cops or deaths when we were driving like maniacs through the mountains. And some people's lives are marred by that. Marked by escapades. Sometimes it's funny, humiliating, shameful, or tragic. The first impulse will be to bury the skeletons in a dark closet and padlock the door. The family may be possessed by the idea the future happiness can be based only upon forgetfulness of the past. All right, I quit drinking. I'm doing better. Let's just forget everything that happened back then. Lock the door and look away, right? We think that's such a view as self-centered and in a direct conflict with the new way of living. Henry Ford, anybody know that guy? You know who Henry Ford is?
Never heard of him.
He once made a wise remark to the effect that experience is the thing of supreme value in life. Experience is the supreme thing and the value in life. That is true only if one is willing to churn the past into a good account. We grow by our willingness to face and rectify errors and convert them into assets. So now we as a family can sit down and go, each individual's looking at themselves in the way we were back then. I look at myself, I apologize. I go, I'm not going to act that way. And we all do the same thing. And we turn it into an asset. And now we're a stronger, more connected communal team that can just take on the future. Churn it into an asset. The alcoholic's past thus becomes a principal asset of the family and frequently is almost the only one. This painful past, last paragraph, and we'll end it here. The painful past may be of infinite value to other families still struggling with their problems. Now, look at that.
Let's see.
We sit here as a family unit, happy, You know, these guys are getting older. Their future's about to really start on their own. The decisions they make now. We're sitting here. We're all happy. We love each other. We're about to go smash some pizza, watch some movies, eat $60 worth of junk food. You know what I mean? And we're happy. And now you guys can look at us and say, wow, LT was a piece of shit drunk, you know, fifth the night, alcoholic, gallons on the weekend, ruining his family, about getting divorced. One of them leaves while he's drunk and he, you know, about lost his job, his health, all this stuff. And now they're better. If they can do it, I can do it. And that's true. If like I can quit, you can quit. If we can get along and forgive each other and love each other, you guys can do the same thing. So we sit here as hope to you. This painful past may be of infinite value to other families still struggling with their problems. And now when you accomplish
Thank you,
this
Sean.
and succeed, thank you, Sean. You will be this positive, hopeful role model at wherever you are in your life for others looking at you in the position you may be looking at us, right? We think each family which has been relieved owes something to those who have not. So we owe the still suffering addict. And when the occasion requires, each member of it should be only too willing to bring former mistakes, no matter how grievous, out of their hiding places. Showing others who suffer how we were given help is the very thing which makes life seem so worth us to now, right? Cling to the thought that in God's hands, the dark past is the greatest possession you have. The greatest possession we have, like Amos right now. He could take his whole life of not knowing his real dad for how long ever know, and they got a good and loving relationship because Amos is such an amazing, forgiving kid, raised by me and her, you know, and then just all the other, his whole life up to now, having to live with me and alcoholism and the, you know, how far apart we are and all that kind of stuff. And he could actually help other people grow because he's growing through it. Mm-hmm. Cling to the thought that in God's hands, the darkest past is the greatest possession you have. The key to life and happiness for others. We hold the key of happiness for others. That's crazy. And you do too. With it, you can avert death and misery for them. So we get up here on YouTube. We get up here on Facebook, Twitch, Periscope, and we proclaim this hope to hopefully help you evade it, right? To avert death and misery. Because if we can do it, you can do it. I want to shout out to y'all who just hit us with some super chats. Thank you, Sean and Marilyn. Your support is awesome, and we appreciate it tons. Wait, let me see what Nicole said. The work that you put in is always makes the difference. Yeah, but they have to put in the work too. Yeah, you only get what you put in. There's no doubt about that. You want to read it?
I like stepping away rather than turning backs because you can always step forward to them again when we are better. Also, she says, although maybe sometimes some situations may entail a back turn. Guess it just depends.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I think the first step would be stepping away before you completely rule someone out forever.
Yeah. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen.
Amen.
Awesome.
I had no idea.
Now you know. Oh, you never came to meetings.
You never got to go to recovery
I went
meetings
to,
with us.
One.
Oh, yeah. We did that one time.
Yeah.
You're welcome, Brandy. Glad you made it tonight.
Yeah, thank you all for showing up. We will be back Tuesday.
Thank you, Brad.
Brad is doing a late night stream on Zoom. Jump in there. You will see the link dropped in the Discord. But until Tuesday, y'all, do not put yourself in a high-risk situation. Stay strong, work your programs, and remember, we recover better together.